Hello everybody.
Hi.
I am Lisa.
And I'm Jackie.
And we are half of the Monday Morning Cooking Club, and we have got another quarter of the Monday Morning Cooking Club, Natanya, behind the camera, and she's going to be answering questions and just letting us know what's going on. So today this is the first dinner cook along, and the idea is that you all have the ingredients prepared as per the instructions on the website and Facebook, and we will cook together in real time so that at 6 o'clock, in about an hour or less, you'll have dinner.
How good's that?
Hi Jessie, lovely that you're watching. Hi Guy, you're watching too.
All right, so let's start. So I'm going to go through the salmon crumble in a minute. That's the main part of what we're doing, but we thought we'd slip in a couple of bonus recipes, because when you've got all these leftover herbs, you want to do something with them.
And who doesn't love a bonus recipe?
So we've got to get the two bonus recipes going. It'll take about 3 minutes, and then we'll start with the salmon crumble. So the bonus recipes, the first one is roasted fennel. This is a fennel. It's a beautiful aniseedy vegetable that you can serve raw, shredded, sliced in a salad, or roasted as we're going to do.
Can you explain why I'm sitting? Because I
Okay,
feel very odd.
okay.
I feel very odd.
So as many of you know, I am, height challenged, shall we say, and Jax is not. And this kitchen with this and the phone and the videoing, it just gives us like this much room. So I fit in the room, and Jax is too tall. So we thought you'd like to see her beautiful face.
I'm sitting.
So she's sitting. So she's going to cut the fennel up. And while Jax is doing that, I'm going to start the next step that we've got to get in for the bonus recipes. The other bonus recipe is a fresh rocket herb and walnut salad, and the secret ingredient in that one is a quick pickled onion, and we use this all the time in our salads. So I'm just going to grab the onions.
So I've cut off the bulb at the bottom, and I've cut off all the leafy bits. Now I keep those because I cut them with scissors and sprinkle them on halfway through the cooking. Lisa does not. So you can make a choice.
Yeah.
I'm going to make wedges now out of those, and we're going to roast them. This is the simplest vegetable.
And if you cut through the core like Jackie is, they will hold together and you'll get lovely thick pieces.
Good tip.
And they'll get all roasty on the outside and soft on the inside. In the meantime, I'm going to cut an onion. We've got a red onion. Sorry, Jax.
I should take
I know. I'll get another knife. How about that?
Yes. So once you start with the knife, you go on with the knife.
So Jax, you're doing two
bulbs.
fennels, two bulbs
Two fennel bulbs.
to feed about 4 to 6.
Yeah, I think so. I think 6 is probably, depends how much you like fennel, I guess. But yeah, I think 6 is probably about right. So I'm going to peel the onion. And I'm going to slice it thinly lengthways. You know, there's a thing about slicing onions lengthways and acrossways. And the idea is, if you want your onion to hold its shape and not go soft, the idea is to cut it with the grain. And if you want it to break down, which you might in a sauce or not, then you cut it across the grain. For this salad, we'll cut it along the grain. So I'm just going to do a quick slice. So Jax, you go on with that while I do this.
So now I put it in my roasting pan. Lisa's got a nicely fitting one, or you can have a bigger one. It doesn't really matter, as long as there's room for the fennel. I'm going to just put a bit of olive oil through them. I'm going to toss it all together in a minute, and just a hint of chili. Don't go too over the top, although some people might like a really hot hit, but I prefer just a bit. So I would say
It's quite generous.
That is
so
very
teaspoon.
generous.
That's quite generous. Yeah, it's probably.
Teaspoon? Not
yeah,
even.
Yeah.
Maybe even half a teaspoon. That was too generous. Was I too generous?
Well, we'll see when we eat it, won't we? And I think it needs lots of salt.
And pepper.
And pepper. But really lots of salt. So I have sliced the onions into a bowl, and I'm just going to reach across, and you can use lemon juice or vinegar, and I'm just going to put a splash of red wine vinegar, or it could be lemon juice, over the onions.
And I'm putting ample salt. Lots of salt.
And I'm going to put a bit of salt, and I'm going to put a drizzle of olive oil.
People are going to have 4 hands. Your hands.
No, I
are my
know.
hands.
This is the only part we're rushing through, and then we'll get to the proper
I'm
recipe
just
in a
going to use
minute.
that. So I'm stirring mine through, just making sure it's all coated in the oil.
Hi Marina, glad to have you with us. Hope you're cooking along beautifully.
Okay, so this is the quick onion pickle. Onions, bit of lemon juice or red wine vinegar, a splash of olive oil, some salt, rub it in with your fingers, and now we're going to put it on the bench till we're ready to make the salad. Simple. That in the oven.
Okay. Do you know? Can I just say quickly?
Bottom
Raw onion. If you don't feel well, if you've got an upset stomach, raw fennel is the best for curing that. Just a little tip.
Oh, I
I
didn't
didn't
know
know
that,
that.
Jax.
And it works really well. Trust me. Top oven.
Yep.
So what is it on? 180?
Yeah.
And
on
it's going
180.
in for...
Yeah. Let's see, maybe 40 minutes.
Beautiful.
Okay. Can I just talk for a minute about this green board? What we have in our kitchen is an onion and green board rule. Every time we work with onion, garlic or chili, we use a green board. And when we cut watermelon and whatever, we never use a green board. See, the worst thing, don't you think,
Yeah, I
is
agree.
when you cut watermelon on a board where someone's cut garlic or onion. It's terrible. So this is our garlic and onion board, just in case you're wondering. Okay, let's talk salmon crumble. Let's talk through all the ingredients that you all need to have in front of you. Let's start with the salmon. We've actually had a big salmon couple of weeks, if you've been following us on Facebook and Instagram.
Et voila.
This is a 1 kilo piece of salmon. I got my local fish shop to skin it and take the bones out, pin bone it, and I love that section. You can do a whole side, you can do fillets together. There's many, many options. This feeds 6 people beautifully.
Yeah.
So I've just put it on baking paper on a shallow baking tray. So we'll come back to the fish in a minute. Then you will need some lemons. You'll need 2 or 3 lemons. You'll need a bunch of dill, a bunch of flat leaf parsley, and a bunch of basil.
Yum. You can smell.
And we've washed these and they've been shaken dry so they're not wet anymore. You'll also need some sourdough bread that's a few days old. So this is a loaf I bought maybe 3 days ago. 180 grams before you cut the crusts off, or 120 grams after you cut the crusts off. A really good idea is if you've got leftover bread at the end of the weekend or whatever, just pop it in the freezer, and then when you need to make this, here it is. Bread.
Shall I take the crust off now?
Yeah, that'd be great. Jax is going to cut the crust off, and if you really love crusts, you can actually spray them with olive oil spray and toast and salt, and toast them in the oven.
Yum.
So they get like lovely little rusks. All right, then we need olive oil, 1/4 cup, salt and pepper, and that is and 1 long red chili, and that's it. The concept behind this recipe is that we make a mixture of bread and herbs, chili, lemon, olive oil and seasoning. It needs to be a coarse, rustic mixture, not a smooth paste. And we're going to put that on top of the salmon. I'm going to cook the salmon in the oven. Okay, beautiful. So we'll put that
And
over
this
there.
recipe came from a friend of mine from Melbourne, from Lisa Breckler. And we are eternally grateful, because when we first heard the name Salmon Crumble, we were a bit concerned that it might be a cross between...
We were sort of thinking, like an apple crumble and how that would work. And
with
they're like,
salmon.
no, we don't even want to try it. But we actually did.
Yeah.
And this has been, for me and my family, one of the greatest dishes in all the books. We have it probably once every 2 weeks. It's great the next day. It's great the same day. You can serve it warm. You can serve it room temperature. You can serve it from the fridge.
But the trick is not to keep it going until it's a paste. You've got to leave it so it stays as a crumble. That's the trick.
So crusts are off. So we're going to just cut that up. The recipe in the book actually says to put everything in together, but I prefer to do the bread a little bit first in the food processor. Now, if you don't have a food processor, you can do this by hand. It would be quite arduous, the bread part of it, but I think you can do it. You can just cut the bread up just in little pieces and then cut across and make rough breadcrumbs. And the herb part's easy. So we'll do that in a minute. Next is the chili. Jax is getting ready for the chili with gloves. If you are a person that can't remember to wash your hands after you touch the chili, you need gloves.
Or you might rub your eye
Yeah,
accidentally.
yeah.
It is very painful.
There's lots of things that can go wrong with chili hands. Okay.
How would you
so
like the chili cut?
I think we'll halve it lengthways. We'll take the seeds out, and you can leave them in if you like it spicy, and cut it across into maybe 3 or 4 bits. Remember, we're going to put it in there as well.
Right.
We'll get to the bread in a minute. Let's look at the herbs. The recipe calls for, sorry, Jax.
Can I just interrupt and say, The way, the way to get the seeds out is to cut down that membrane and try and get them all out at once. That's what I wanted to say.
Do you want a bowl to put the
Yeah. I don't want to
stuff in?
put them on your...
Okay. So the recipe calls for a handful of parsley, a handful of basil, and a handful of dill, which is not very precise, I know, but that's pretty much what we follow. A handful to me is probably a half a bunch. So that's what we're going to go on today. And these are the bunch sizes that we have. So, oh, that smells so spicy, doesn't it?
It's good. And you said 3 or 4 pieces, so now we've got all the seeds out. Hopefully you've got all your seeds out.
So I'm just going to use half the bunch for now. And have I already, is this half the bunch or is this...
There's no
Have
more
I
here.
half the bunch yet? No, I haven't. Okay. So I'm going to take about half the bunch. I'm going to save the other half for a bit later when we make the salad and pull off the leaves.
I can do that.
You don't need to be, if you get a little bit of stem, it's fine for this and stalk because we're going to stick it in there anyway. You know, for some things you really just want the leaf. For this one, we don't have to stress. Again, parsley, I'm going to just start, I'm going to take the leaves off that. I get a little impatient with this, so I don't know if you're a bit more meticulous than I am.
She ends up with a lot of
Yeah, I'll
stalk.
just put the whole thing in. Okay, remember if you are watching live, you can ask questions which we are very, very happy to answer. I know that many of you will be watching it later or tomorrow and we'll try to answer those questions, but we might probably be there when you ask them. But we'll try to come back. So I'm just pulling the leaves off and then Jax will continue that. And the same half a bunch of dill. So this is such a great, simple recipe. If you want to do it ahead and make it on the day you want to serve it, then you can actually prep all your herbs and everything the day before. And then it's just a quick stick everything in there and put it on top. I probably wouldn't process it and make the crumble the day before because I think the bread would go soggy, the herbs would be limp, and
Yeah.
it just wouldn't be good.
If you got all these ready and put them in a
paper towel.
like a slightly damp paper towel,
Yeah.
that would work well, and put it in the fridge,
Yeah.
and that will keep it nicely till tomorrow, nice and fresh.
Lovely to have you, Selena. Hope
Hi,
you're
Selena.
well.
Hi, Selena. Remember, if anyone's got any questions, please ask them. Natanya's there manning the screen and she can answer anything, or we can hopefully answer anything.
I wonder if it's womaning.
Oh man,
Womaning
it's
the
true actually,
screen,
yeah.
she's womaning it.
Yeah, just have a bit of girl power.
Yeah, okay. So what we're going to do is all of this stuff, and it already smells to me like the salsa, like the crumble is going to smell, which is very exciting. It's just herby and chili and it's just going to be fantastic. Okay, so let's start with the bread. So I'm going to put it in the food processor. As I said, if you don't have a food processor, you can chop it by hand, but it will take time. Oh, there's my phone. Natanya's going to get the phone.
She's womaning the phone as
Oh
well.
no, someone got it. Someone got it. Thank you, my children, for answering the phone when we need you most. So I'm going to put the bread in. And I'm just going to give it a quick pulse. So this is about 120 grams of stale sourdough. And if you're worried, if your sourdough's too fresh, rather than put fresh bread in there, which just might go to mush, you could stick the piece of bread in the oven, you know, and sort of make it a little bit stale.
Dry it out.
So I'm just going to pulse this. I've got to say my blade is I think nearing the end of its life and it's not as sharp and good as it used to be. So obviously it's much quicker than chopping it by hand, but if you don't have a food processor,
And you haven't done
You
it to
know.
a fine
No, I haven't.
powder. It's
I
still
haven't.
got little chunks.
it's actually got quite big
Do you want
chunks.
to
of
just
it.
show
Just-
us
yeah.
a piece? Yeah, let's have
Just
a
what you had.
So quite big.
Okay, next thing is all of this goes in. So this is a handful of dill, a handful of continental or Italian parsley, and a handful of basil or basil.
Basil.
Yeah, I know. I've got some American friends that say basil, and I love it.
I love it
I always
too.
say basil. It sounds very boring. Then I'm going to put in some garlic. Now, my family don't love garlic. I don't know about yours. I'm not going to put the garlic in. Do you mind?
Okay.
Because we're going to eat this
Okay.
for dinner. Hopefully, like your families will, or you will. 2 or 3 cloves in there, whole.
Peeled and in there whole.
Yeah, so if I was going to put the garlic in, I would just take a clove out like that. And you can peel it, you know, there's a really good way to peel the cloves which is not like that. It's just with the knife, just to go like that, and that'll enable the...
Firmly apply pressure.
So that's it. All right, I'll put one in.
Go on.
Yeah, good for the
See if
immune
See
system.
if they notice.
Garlic.
In.
So 2 or 3, the recipe I think says 3. So it's quite garlicky, which I guess is like garlic bread, which everybody does like. Anyway, so we're going to put that in, and I'm going to give it a couple of whizzes, just to get it all mixed.
And that is a technical term, jour.
Okay. Now, the best part of this is that we put in lemon and olive oil. So I think it's quarter cup of olive oil. So you need to take your olive oil and pour it over. Lemon. Oh, excuse me. Diving. I just got this actually a few weeks ago. It's really
very
great.
pretty.
I love it. Do you have one of these, or do you use it? This was my
It looks like it should go the
all-time
other way.
favourite. You know what this is from? This is from Tupperware parties 20 years ago.
Yeah.
This was probably the free gift with purchase, and it's been really good. But this is fabulous.
That's so funny. I would have put it in the other way.
No, I know. So I know. I also thought that
So
at the
it's
beginning.
skin up.
So you put it the other way. So there, that's it,
Oh,
and then
my
all the
goodness.
juice. All the juice
Carol
comes out.
J tells us that this is her favourite go-to recipe. She does it a lot when she's entertaining because it always
Ooh.
looks so good.
Yeah.
She's right.
You are
It's-
right, Carol.
It
Yeah.
really is. It looks
Yeah.
amazing when you do a whole side. It looks really
Fabulous.
spectacular.
It's very
Like on a festive season table.
These are the funniest things ever.
I know they are, aren't they? Okay. So that's everything. Now, of course, salt, essential. It says here a teaspoon. So let's put a teaspoon in.
And I agree with Selena who says, gotta have garlic in there.
Okay, all right. Sorry, Selena.
It's good
Garlic's
for you,
in.
right?
Okay.
It's good for you.
So process again. And remember, if you don't have a food processor, put it on the board, get your big cook's knife and just chop.
Yep.
And it'll be fantastic.
Yep.
It'll just take you an extra 8 minutes.
This is the important part. How much to do it?
Yes,
Four
it's all,
jours.
it's all in the
Four
pulse.
jours.
I reckon that's it. Now,
Let's show.
I wish I could tell you how this smells. I mean, you could smell
Sensorama.
this. Is just so, the lemon, it makes your mouth water. It's herby, it's
So
fresh.
fragrant.
It is a little bit of spice.
tilt.
And of course, Selena, you're right, the garlic is pretty good in it.
Let's go.
So that's what it looks like.
Look at that. So
Yes,
it's,
it's
not,
not-
a paste.
yeah.
It's sort of like a tabbouleh size.
Yeah,
That's a
actually
very good
really right.
description,
Okay.
yeah.
So I'm going to take the blade out, and we'll come back to that in 1 second. How are we going for time? Yeah, we're doing quite well for time. So hopefully you are all following along at this stage, and we're not going too fast. Remember, the idea is that this isn't a cooking show. This is an interactive cook along with us step by step in real time, so that we're trying to do things the speed that you'll do them at home. I
Yeah.
think if we can try to keep remembering that, because it's
Listen
hard not to go
beforehand.
ahead and say, here's one I prepared earlier, but we don't want to do that. Okay, so then we take our salmon. Now, I've got to tell you something. It's a secret. I don't know if you're going to be happy with me.
Uh-oh.
But I don't actually do the next part anymore, because I think what happens in my family and with entertaining and stuff, I just cut corners and make it simpler. So the idea is that you slice a lemon. Jax, would you like to slice a lemon up for us, just into, just straight
Thin
slices?
slices?
Yeah. Is that you slice the lemon and put the lemon slices under the salmon, and then you put verjuice or white wine around the salmon. I'm going to do it today just to show, but I don't do it anymore, and I'm not sure if it's necessary. Do you do it?
Yes.
And you like it,
I'm
yeah.
a stickler for the rules.
Yeah, I know. And I am
Stickler.
too in the beginning. I think it's always great when you get a recipe to follow it exactly the first time, and then
Yeah,
tweak
you can
it to
adjust,
suit you. Yeah.
Like the chili, if you don't want so much chili
Yeah.
or no lemon.
So the other thing I want to tell you is I think it's better if your salmon is at just about room temperature. You don't want to take it straight from the fridge into the oven. It's much better for the salmon and the result if you if you do it this way. So can we just pop a few salmon slices under that?
So I'm just getting rid of some pips so that they don't.
So remember, you can do this in one piece. You can do a whole side. You can buy fillets already done from the shop and just put them side by side, which is nice for serving as well. If you don't want to skin it or you can't get it skinned, you can leave the skin on underneath and it will just sit on the skin, and when you serve it, you'll just be able to serve the pieces off the skin. It works out quite well. All right, is that enough?
Yeah.
Okay. Now we are going to put the crumble on top, and I think we're going to use a spoon. Oops. So we're just putting it on top like this. And you can taste it if you like to see if it's well enough seasoned well enough.
You're a big taster.
I am.
Sometimes I just hope for the best and put it on.
It's just so good.
You should taste it.
It's so lemony and salty, and it's just fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to put it all on top, and then with my hands,
Hi Rachel, hi Tori, thanks for joining us.
so this is all you do. See, it's not a paste, it's really a chunky
Tabbouleh-like.
It is exactly like tabbouleh. Now, depending on how you like your salmon, our family drives me a bit mad because we like it super, super rare. What's yours?
We like medium rare, but it does keep cooking once you've taken it out, so you have to allow for that.
So I'm quite happy with that. Are you happy with that? Is that well enough covered?
I think it's pretty
Covered
good.
well enough, I should say.
At least most of it's on the salmon.
Okay. And I would lick my fingers if I wasn't here. All right.
Every morsel.
All right, excuse me for a sec. Jax?
That looks so good. That looks so good. Just wondering if we can use that topping for anything else as well, because that's such a great.
I think that people have used it on whitefish,
Right.
which I think would be really nice as well. We're just addicted to salmon at the moment for whatever reason. Okay, so then we're just going to take your verjuice or white wine and just put it around. It's a bit weird with the baking paper there, so maybe we should just stick it down with some oil so that we don't. Otherwise, all the liquid is going to go under the baking paper. If I would have done this properly, I would probably have the baking paper cover the whole bottom of the tray so that this doesn't happen. But I'm thinking about serving. Think about what I do is take this from the oven tray onto my serving platter with the baking paper. You need another pair of hands to help you.
Yeah.
You know, like lifting a patient. That's what I think about. 1, 2, 3, you'll go that side and we'll just put it on the tray.
Okay,
This is now a little drizzle of olive oil, and that is it.
And the verjuice.
Yes, and the verjuice.
And
I
then
did start talking about that.
Yes.
So the verjuice goes around, and I'm sure it does add a little something. But I wonder if I served you one with and one without, whether you could really
Well, it
tell
sort
the
of
difference.
maybe poaches it a bit at the
Yeah,
bottom.
it might. I think you're right. Okay, so that's the verjuice.
So the topping is still on top. Nothing's moved. It's all gone around.
So cooking time, it says in the book 15 minutes for rare, 20 and 30 minutes for well done. We cook ours now for 12.
I'm a 13 and a half.
Okay. So
13 and a half.
what we're going to do is we're going to put it in the oven for 12 minutes and take it out, and then while it's in the oven we're going to talk you through the herb salad and chit chat generally. Let's put it in the oven.
But if you really like it well done, then put it in for longer. Put it in for 15 minutes or 16 minutes. But don't forget that it will keep cooking when you take it out because it's still warm and still the heat's warming through.
12.
Timer's on for 12.
Okay, so the thing is, and Jack's just mentioned it, but it's so important to remember that it really keeps on cooking. Don't think it keeps on cooking a little bit, but I can't tell you how many times I've pulled a salmon out of the oven or off the stove and thinking it's perfect, and then come back 10 minutes later and it's completely overcooked because it's just kept
And then it
cooking.
dries out a bit.
Yeah, so I think you really need to cook your salmon a step before you like it. One step before, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to our salad. Now,
can I pass
This
you?
is a great salad because it's fresh and light, it's summery, it's wintry, it's whatever you want it to be, and it goes with everything and anything. You can't really make it, you can't dress it ahead because once you dress herbs, I think they really wilt.
Yeah.
So we're going to make it to serve. Let's start with this. Okay. One thing I'd really love to share about making a salad is don't make it in the bowl you're going to serve it in. I know it's an extra dish to wash, but if you can have a bowl that's at least twice as big as your serving bowl, it's so much easier to mix it and then put it into your serving bowl.
And can I tell you one thing that I learned quite a while ago, but it was such an important thing and I didn't realise. I used to do like 2 tosses like this and think that was enough. You have to toss the salad well to get everything covered. It's important.
Yeah, I agree. So rocket, we've got baby rocket, which I'm addicted to. Do you like it?
Yeah, love it.
I did meet someone yesterday actually who doesn't eat rocket. And I thought, well, they must never come to my place for lunch because it's in every meal. So we're going to put rocket, and we're going to take, this is where this salad goes really well with the salmon, the leftover bunches of herbs that we used on top of the salmon. It's a really good use of them.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a million uses, but I think this is fabulous. So now what I'd like to do is be a little bit more meticulous with picking off the leaves because you don't want to have stalks in this so
And are these going straight in?
Yeah, I think we can put them straight in.
No cutting.
Well, what do you think?
Bonus.
Do we want to cut or not?
No.
We could do a little cut.
Let's go.
You could tear.
What do you want to do? Maybe the basil, because they're quite big.
Maybe
So I'll
basil.
just put them here. But I think the parsley doesn't need to be, because the rocket is not cut. So we're just going to pull this off.
Oh, hi Donna, all the way from New Zealand.
Hi Donna, thanks for tuning in. Hope you're cooking. You've got great salmon actually in New Zealand.
Yes.
So this is a great dish for you guys. Okay. I hope that after you watch this, you will all go home, or you will all, if you're home, you are home. You will all go and cook it and then report back to us that this is now your favourite
Yes.
new dish.
You better try it out. It's simple. You saw how simple it was?
We'd also like to hear from you whether you want more of these cook-alongs. We're just trying them out. This is our third one. We did honey cake, we did challah, and this is the first meal we're trying to do because we thought it would be fun if you could all rely on us. Oh, I'm not supposed to be putting them in there.
Concentrating.
If you could all rely on us that maybe once a month or whatever, you know that at this time on this day, we will be here cooking with you. That's the dream.
Yeah.
And maybe we need to get better microphones or do something better with the filming, but we're just testing the waters now to see how it is. Okay, so that's all the leaves off that. Put that over there. I just want you to know there's a huge mess over. Oh, can you see the huge mess? Is it on the camera?
No, you can't see it.
Because I'm just, you know how you do that sometimes. Okay.
That's
so
okay. Washing up is another how-to altogether.
Okay, so I'm just going to tear the basil into it.
Are you a wash as you go, or do you just leave it and wash it all at the end?
I just leave it. Depends. If
I'm a real wash as
Are
I
you?
go now. Yes.
Me too,
I've
Jax.
become a wash as I go. I can't have the mess around me. I have to clean and move on. And
I think it depends. If I've got a huge day ahead with
Yeah.
4, 5, 6 things to cook, then I do try to cook as I go, wash as I go. But
Yeah.
it doesn't always happen.
Yeah.
All right. So if you're following along, you're sitting there or standing there with your herbs, and you're just taking them off the stalks like this, tearing the basil if you want, not tearing it if you don't want. Okay. So that's the basil. Now we've got some dill. And it's funny, are you a fan of dill?
I love dill. And I've got a new favourite. I know it's not in this, but my new favourite is chives.
Chives are great. They'd be great in this salad too.
I love chives. It's a new thing.
Okay,
I'm
so we're
finished.
taking the... Here we are.
Oh.
Would you use different herbs, Lise, if you didn't have those ones on hand?
You can use whatever you like. Coriander would be lovely, but we have members of our family that refuse to eat coriander, so we don't use it
Do you
so
want
much.
those whole or halved?
I think halved. I think halved is better for the mint. It just smells so lovely and fresh, and it really is delicious. Okay. So that's that, and And see, it's so nice to have this space to toss it
Yeah, you're right.
rather than in a bowl, which is often really hard. Okay, so that's that. Now, into this salad, we are going to put eventually the pickled onion, which is now changed colour. It's soft and it's fully edible. If you're not a raw onion eater, this is still delicious, even though it's raw because it's pickled a bit. Would you eat this now?
Yes. I love red
Smells
onion. I
delicious
love red
too.
onion.
I love
raw.
red onion too.
I think it's very good for you.
I don't know, is it? I'm not sure. Is
Has
it?
it got good things in it?
Let's pretend.
Okay.
Then we're going to add walnuts. I think walnuts and herbs is such a great combo. We've got a recipe in, that's where this recipe was inspired by a salmon recipe in our third book. For those of you that have got It's Always About the Food, we've got a recipe called char-grilled salmon with, I can't remember, maybe Natty can, the book's holding the phone up, so we're not going to be using that.
Do not move it.
So what it is, again, salmon which you grill, and you make a salad with, I'm having a mental blank, quinoa, herbs, walnuts, red onion, very similar to this, and it's so beautiful.
Red wine
Salmon.
vinaigrette?
No, it's got lemon and sumac.
Yum.
Yeah.
Yum, yum.
So walnuts. Now, the thing about walnuts, and we've said it before and we'll say it again,
We'll say it again.
you have to taste them when you buy them. I don't know if it's legal in Coles when you take them from that little thing to take one, but I think you should be entitled to, because otherwise you're buying walnuts that are rancid if you don't taste them. And some shops you can't. You need to buy walnuts where they have a good turnover of produce. So you can chop them with your knife, or you can just crush them with your hands.
Are they roasted or they're
No,
just
they
fresh?
are just fresh. I don't really love roasted walnuts personally as much as I do fresh. I don't know.
I like them fresh.
Yeah, I think the roasting does give them a different flavour. So we're putting walnuts in. So take your walnuts and just crush them together. These are lovely ones actually. There was an interesting story when Richard Cornish from Sydney Morning Herald and The Age did he was looking for the best carrot cake in Australia, and just happened to tell you now that the one that was in our first book won best carrot cake in Australia.
No wonder.
From Angelique
Amazing.
Lazarus in our first book, The Stories of the Sisterhood. But that's not the point of this story. The point of the story is that he said in researching it, he went to everywhere he bought walnuts, they're all rancid, and it's really a problem.
And it changes the
Tastes
taste. The
terrible.
taste is not good.
Okay, so crush your walnuts in. You've got your rocket, your herbs that are left over from the recipe, and you've got walnuts now. Okay, so I think that's about it. Are we all good with this? What are we missing? No, that's it. Okay, toss it again. It's also easier to toss them when they're dry rather than wait till the end completely.
And another tip, it's no use having wet leaves because then the oil can't adhere to it when you dress it, so the leaves should be dry. That's my tip.
That's very good. I like that.
I've learned.
Okay, so there are no measurements for this, and you're probably going to shout at us, but if I was forced to give you a measurement, I'd probably say 1 lemon juice to 3 oil.
Like a ratio.
Yeah, one ratio, 1 to 3, more or less.
Not 1 lemon, one quantity,
one quantity.
Of liquid.
So you might have 1/4 cup of lemon juice, it would be 3/4 of a cup of oil. Not that you need that much for this thing. But let's squeeze 1 lemon and see how we go in this fantastic lemon juicer.
Upside down.
I know, because you think that's the shape.
yeah.
Shape, I know. So we're going to start with lemon.
So that's now just half a lemon.
This is hard work, this lemon juicing.
So you're going to use a whole lemon.
Yeah, let me see how we're going for time. Yeah, we're doing very well. Okay. So, lemon, that'll do. Salt.
Wasn't quite the full.
I know, it's so hard.
I know, but just so we can give an idea.
Salt, always generous with salt. Use really nice quality sea salt flakes. We are using Olsen at the moment from Australia, which is wonderful. we were Malden fans, but why not buy Australian?
Yes.
So we're using Olsen and pepper.
Lisa is a big salter. Her
I am.
family like
I
things
am.
very salty, so you decide how much you want.
We have measured out some oil, but I think I'm just going to use this because this is how I like to do it. Just oil it
Generously.
quite generously, and then the pickled onion. So now, hands are the best for tossing this. There's your salad. I probably could do a few more walnuts in there. What do you think? That's not quite enough.
Maybe you could like just sprinkle them over the top.
Yeah.
When you go to serve.
Yeah, I think that's a
since
good
you
idea.
Smushed it all.
Okay, so can you pass me the serving dish, please? We've got a beautiful little mud. We love mud porcelain homeware, which is an Australian company for those who don't know it, that makes the most beautiful dishes.
Look how Lisa's going to present it beautiful.
And you've got to taste this actually. I'm not going to do it now because it's not going to look elegant to stuff herbs in my mouth. But definitely taste it. Add more salt and pepper as you need. But there's your salad. And I hope that you're the ones of you who are following along are keeping up and we're not going too fast. Okay. Okay. How's that looking, Jax?
A bit of walnut to go on top.
Okay, yeah, so
Yeah,
we could
I'd like
get
some
some, I
sprinkle.
can't see where the walnuts are, but yeah, we would sprinkle walnuts on top.
That'll be the timer.
So that'll be the
Perfect
timer.
timing.
So there is the, can we see it if we put it there?
No, not really. Little, yeah,
Yes.
beautiful.
Okay,
Maybe
so
take the
there's your
chili
salad.
off.
Herbs, rocket, onions, walnuts,
Beautiful.
lemon juice, olive oil, salt and pepper. Really simple, using the leftover herbs from the salmon.
Hi, Anne.
Now, let's have a look.
Do
Let's
you
see
think
how
I could
it's
stay
going.
for dinner? It's only fair since I've helped prep for it.
Glasses are fogging up.
I'm going to move that the way. Sorry.
Okay, so yeah.
I'm too hot.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, so there's the salmon, done. You can see the crumbs are a bit golden. Obviously, the longer you cook it, the more golden they will be. I never serve it hot. Do you serve it hot ever?
Depends. If I'm running late, I can bring it out and put it straight on the table and we'll eat it. But we prefer it a bit cooled down.
I would recommend waiting at least 15 minutes, but you can wait 2 hours. And if it's not a really hot day, you can leave it at room temperature for an hour or so. In summer, in Sydney, it's a bit different. So it's
Smells
cooked.
good. Smells like lemon.
I'm just going to put it on a board, which is this board here. You know, I might get a bigger one. This is how we'd serve it. So you might get a big board like this.
Hi Judy, thanks for joining. Hope you're enjoying our salmon crumble. We're showcasing salmon crumble and a delicious fresh salad.
All right. So we're going to do like the patient thing.
Okay,
And we're
ready?
going to go.
1, 2, 3, go. Whoa, patience heavy.
And you can do that with a whole side of salmon. And how great does that look?
Very
To
rustic.
serve at the table like that.
And it also means that this keeps sort of any juices on there so it doesn't slide off
Yeah.
on the board.
So there's your salmon. And now I'm going to show you the roasted fennel. And then we're done. And then dinner's ready.
Wow, just like that.
Okay, so there's the tracks.
Would you take those lemon pieces off underneath? You don't really need
No,
to.
you don't need to.
Because when you cut, they'll just stay there.
I think that, can you pass me that spatula? I would give these probably another
A little bit more.
bit longer.
Can you just hold this up with your tea towel and show?
Yeah.
You
But
want-
they're starting to look gorgeous.
See that bit there that's got a bit of brown on it? You want the edges to go a bit brown, don't
So I'd
you?
probably give it, you know, you might even try it at 200 actually. So I'd say 200 degrees. Start with 35 minutes and see how you go. Probably 45. I mean, we could eat that now,
Yeah.
but I think it would be better a bit longer. So we've got salmon crumble, roasted fennel, and can you see that?
No.
Yep.
Oh, you can
Yes.
see it, the herb salad.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And a beautiful rocket and herb salad.
And how would you dish it up on a plate? Would you put
Well, I
this
wouldn't.
under?
You mean?
Oh.
See, I wouldn't. I would make a buffet type thing.
Right.
Like that's how we eat now for entertaining and family dinners. Is this just goes on the sideboard or on the table, and everyone just helps
takes.
themselves.
That's what we usually do.
Yeah.
But I can imagine actually serving this with maybe some of the salad underneath and the piece of salmon on top and a nice wedge of...
Yeah, you could, but it would probably be nicer then to buy fillets. Like
Yeah.
or get your fish shop to cut it into pieces, put them together so that it looks like that, cook it like that, and then they'll just slip apart. I just want to cut a bit just to show you. Just going to pick first. That's very wrong. Very rare. That's too much. Yeah.
12 minutes.
So 12
That'll
minutes
do.
is quite not. I just want to show you how rare it
but
is
we'll
at the
keep
moment.
cooking.
Oh, maybe not actually. I mean, it is. That's probably a bit undercooked for most
Go
people
closer.
at this point. So probably 15 is better, but it's really depends on your oven. As I said, I would never serve it hot, so that is going to keep cooking. And I would say a bit later it's going to be fully translucent and perfectly cooked.
So if you were going to do salmon fillets, would you push them all together so that the heat
Exactly.
keeps cooking?
So it looks like that.
So it's simmer. Okay.
So here is our dinner. Hopefully
Dinner
some of
served.
you
Dinner
have
served.
cooked along with us side by side. We'd love feedback. Was it too fast, too slow, too boring, too entertaining, whatever.
Too many tips, too many...
Too
great tips.
delicious.
Too
Too
delicious.
delicious. We're all going to go and eat this for dinner now, so I hope you're going to do the same. I'm just trying to think, have we got any news to tell you? No. Christmas and Hanukkah are coming up, and we have got some great recipes which you'll see on Instagram and Facebook. And of course our new book,
Woohoo!
which is going to come out at the end of February, and we're going to have a very exciting order in advance competition. So just watch the social media space for more info on that.
2020
That's
is
it.
when it's all happening.
And we'd love to know if you want more cook along. So please let us know, send us an email, send us a Facebook message, send it by carrier pigeon, however you like, as long as we get your message. I think it's time to sign off. Thank you, Natty, for doing your great job
Thanks,
behind
Natty.
the scenes.
Loved
And thanks
standing
everyone
here.
for watching. For those who have watched, for those who will watch, thank you.
Thank
I think
you.
it's a high five.
High five. And signing off.
Signing
Thanks,
off.
Natty.
Bye.